No.
Great to see so many of you here. As I think you learned last week, I wasn't here last week, but we're with Dee on extended vacation. We're bringing in some guests to speak about their faith traditions, and I'm really proud this morning to have J.J. Kapur and his father, Gurwinder. And J.J. was a student of mine about 4 years ago at Stillwell Junior High. You're a junior this year, right?
Yes.
So yeah, 4 years ago. And you know, he's a very bright young man, very at ease and confident, and just, I remember the first day he came into class. And you come into class in West Des Moines, and you're wearing a turban, and you don't look quite like everybody else. And he had almost a prepared speech. He talked a little bit about his background and his tradition and what it means. So his dad had come to our school to speak about Sikhism in my class that year, and you may have figured out, I teach a lot about world religions in my class, but Sikhism is still one that I have a lot to learn about. One of the topics they will be talking about is their temple in the Valley Junction area. We'll be hosting an event for visitors coming up, I think, February 24. And so they invite all of you to come to that. I hope to be able to make it and bring my family. So I'll turn it over to JJ and Gurwinder. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Bissinger. Yeah, Mr. Bissinger wants to, just a quick thing about Mr. Bissinger. He was, I think, out of all of the teachers I've had in West Des Moines, he was the one teacher that actually had us have like a field trip. With his social studies class, he brought the whole, our team, or I guess is our sort of delegated group at Stillwell. He brought the art team along and had us tour so many religious communities in West Des Moines. So Mr. Bissinger opened our eyes to a lot of religious groups. And so today, yeah, we'd love to pay it forward and I guess help you all understand a little bit more about our religion. So, welcome. So the first thing is that we're not sheiks. We're not Sikh. We are not Shrek. We've gotten that before. Halloween time comes along. We are the Sikhs. So everyone say, now there's going to be a lot of audience participation. Now Mr. Bissinger's class, we're always, very attuned to, being used to answering questions, even in Miss Wick's class. So today I'm going to make sure that we're all going to have some audience participation. So everyone say Sikhs. Sikhs. Very good, awesome. So who are the Sikhs? So we're going to do a little game of fact or fiction here. So can I have a volunteer to read this first statement? Yes, sir.
Sikhs Sikhs are Muslim because they wear a turban and have a beard.
Okay, so raise your hand if you think that is fact. No peer pressure here. And raise your hand if you think it's fiction. Good! It is fiction! Awesome. So, actually the fact is that turbans are worn in many countries as a cultural dress. However, in the Sikh religion, the turban is a requirement of our faith. And so that is the one characteristic about Sikhism, is that Sikhs wear a turban. It is an actual requirement of our identity as a people. Fact or fiction? Someone can read this one as well.
Sikhism is a blend of Hinduism and Islam.
All right, so now this one is interesting. Sikhism is a blend of Hinduism and Islam. This one may require a bit more thought.
Because it confused me the first time.
So raise your hand if you think this is fact. Yeah, I mean, there's, okay, sure. Fiction. Or raise your hand if it's, okay, it is fiction. So in fact, now Sikhism is, many people think that Sikhism is syncretic in that it borrows from different religions. However, it is its very own distinct faith. So it is not a blend of any 1, 2, 3 religions, it's its own faith. And so actually, Sikhism has its own scriptures, its own gurus, its own, in fact, its own place of worship. So it is its own religion. So that's one interesting thing. So next, fact or fiction? Can someone read this one? Sierra? Now Sierra does speech, so. Okay.
99% of the people wearing a turban in the U.S. are Sikhs.
All right. Now this one's tough. All right, so let's see here. Raise your hand if you think that this is fact. Okay. Raise your hand. Raise it high if you think it's fiction. I think it's about 50-50. It is fact. So it is actually true. Now this shocked me the first time I heard this. But it is true that 99% of the people you see on the street in the United States wearing a turban are Sikhs. And so in fact, the reason why we wear the turban is in fact to stand out. That is the whole purpose of the turban. Since its origin in the 17th century, and up until the 18th century, the reason why we wear the turban is to stand out from the crowd. So that if someone is in need of help, they can look to a Sikh. Or, Sikhs also would like to stand up as role models. So, the Sikhs are always supposed to stand out from the crowd. That's the way it's always been. So, but yes, in the United States, I think we'll have questions towards the end. So save your questions. I know even I'm eager to ask questions too, but make sure you save your questions towards the end, and then we'll get to it. Awesome. So now, but there are differences between a Sikh turban and other turbans, right? So we have here on your let's see here on your left. So we have here Sikhs wearing turbans. So we have a Sikh man wearing a turban. Some Sikh women also wear a turban. We also have a Sikh man on the bottom part wearing sort of a rounded turban.
A quickie turban, they call it.
A quickie turban. And then we also have a young boy wearing a turban. Now this isn't actually a turban, it's called a patka.
And this is what JJ used to wear when he was going to school, when he was in kindergarten. It was an easy way of actually covering his head. Because as JJ alluded to, we don't cut our hair. Our hair is really long. And so we don't cut my beards off. So you're wondering where the beard is gone, it's hidden. And I'll teach you all a cosmetic way of hiding it. But typically he used to wear this, and mom would put on his head, and he would be screaming his head off because the temperature underneath that is pretty high. Keeps you nice and warm during winter. So, and just to look, as I was sorry to interrupt your presentation, the gentleman on the right, the gentleman on your extreme right is actually a police officer. And it was, how many of you know that something interesting has happened recently in the United States about police officers? Anyone? Yes, ma'am.
Well, but now I think both police officers and in the military,
Yes.
folks are allowed to wear turbans if they're Sikh.
That's right, especially in New York. They started that.
NYPD.
Right. Yeah. So anyway.
So yeah, so on you mean their left. So it's on your right side. So these are individuals who are wearing a turban, but it's not necessarily a Sikh turban. I think it's pretty easy to tell the difference here. If you look at it, this man is wearing this man's from Iran. He's wearing sort of a sort of cloth here. But the difference is that Sikhs tie their turban. And these folks here on the right side wrap their turban. And so here we have an example of a turban.
And make a guess, how long is a turban? You'll not offend me, don't worry.
6 feet.
No, 6 feet, going for 7, anybody for 8? I was just an option. 9 for 10, anyone? 4 feet? 10 feet. We're going for 10, 11 feet, 12 feet, 13 feet, anyone? Longer.
No way, really.
Yeah, this is a volleyball net actually, or a fishing net. So for survival purposes, let me tell you that is very helpful. So that's how long. This is a mini turban. This is a dream turban actually for JJ. But it's not this long, and it's so useful.
So this is sort of what I would wear. So this is close to about, I'd say,
about 4 yards.
Yeah.
About 4 yards times 3 is 12 feet.
But my father's turban, I think, is closer to around.
The bigger you go, the longer it gets. So it gets about, mine is about 15 feet. So sorry, it's about 16 feet. Yeah, that's about 5 yards. And you don't buy turbans just like that from Walmart. From India. When I travel back, I won't tell you which country I'm from. You'll make a guess where I'm from. I think Laurie knows where I'm from. But we get our turbans from there. So when we travel back, we bring a whole bunch of colored turbans and all that. So,
yeah.
so difference is tie, wrap.
Yeah, so we tie it, and these folks here sort of wrap their turban. So. Okay, so where do you guys think Sikhism originates from? What region of the world? What country?
India.
India. Very good. And it does. It is, in fact, from northern India. So if you look here, it's actually in the Punjab region of India, northern region of India, which is the agriculturally rich region of India.
So right about, down this spot at the tip. So this is, anyone help me with this one?
Yeah.
Fantastic. This one?
That's great.
Yeah, it's nice and warm there now. And all the way here is India.
Yeah. Good. So, but now, in fact, there's about 22 million Sikhs worldwide, but most of the Sikhs are concentrated in India, about 20 million. But scattered around in the United States, you have different communities of Sikhs. In different regions of the world, there are communities of Sikhs, but most of them are concentrated in northern India. So Sikhs came to America about 100 years ago, and Sikhs were actually one of the main people who came to the West Coast. And they were primarily responsible for a lot of the railroads that were being built during that time. But the main area Sikhs were involved in, and I'm learning this in my own US history class. So in fact, I didn't know about the major immigrant surge around the early 20th century. But many, especially Sikhs, came to the west coast of the United States and actually pursued agriculture. And so all of the largest peach farms and the largest walnut and almond farms in California, I did not know, are actually owned by Sikhs. And so this was all because Punjab is agriculturally rich. So when many Sikhs came to the West Coast, they were like, look, we already know farming in India. Might as well do farming in California. And so that's a lot of where our origin came from. However, in around the early 20th century, in the early 1900s, California passed a Alien Land Act. And what this said was that basically you would have to become a US citizen in order to own land, farmland in California. So many Sikhs were scrambling, and many Asian communities were scrambling to get US citizenship. So that is then where many people became naturalized, became citizens here, but started off on the West Coast. So Sikhism is the 5th largest religion in the world. Let's see if we can guess the other 5. So, number 1, who can guess the largest religion in the world?
Christianity.
Very good. Christianity is correct. 2.2 billion Christians. All right, number 2.
Islam.
Islam. Very, very good. 1.4 billion. Oh. Yes, so third is Hinduism. That's right. So Hinduism is actually the predominant religion in India. So Hinduism is really where so when I guess Sikhism started. Before Sikhism, Hinduism was the main religion, and after that, Sikhism emerged in India.
I've got to say something very interesting down here, that if you had asked our Sikh congregation or our Hindu congregation about that general knowledge question just now, everybody would say, oh, it's Hinduism, the first religion, largest population. It cannot be any other religions. And that's how stereotyped we are. I'm sorry about that. But that's true facts from Wikipedia. Something else, as JJ mentioned too, also Hinduism, many years ago, when you've heard the terms like karma, anyone know the meaning of karma? Karma? What is it?
It's like your fate, how things turn around.
Fantastic, what comes around goes around. It started with Hinduism, the caste system, the worship of different types of gods, the pantheonic worship of the god of this creation, god of destruction. Kali, you remember that famous Indiana Hill Jones movie that you won? Oh, that was scary.
The Temple of Doom, yeah.
And you understand people like that because a lot of times from Hindu religion, they believe that any form of great events that were happening around the world, like a storm or a tsunami, it was the gods. Yep. So the Hindus believed in this pantheonic worship of God. They were all worshipping gods, which many of the young Sikh religion gurus that came. Sikh was not a religion, as JD had mentioned. We're not a religion. It was a formal way of life. Mm-hmm. And they said, let's get away from this caste system. Let's get away from. Wait, by the way, what's a caste system? Does anybody know what it is? Yes, sir.
It's basically different levels of socioeconomic tiers within Hinduism, and you can't generally speaking, you can't rise from one
To
to another, the lowest being the
Untouchable.
untouchables, and, you know, obviously very poor, and I'm not sure what the top one's called, but
Can I get your name, sir? What's your name?
Don.
Don, this is exactly. Now, if Don was born in a religion and he was untouchable, he would not be allowed in your house right now because I'm a Brahmin. I'm the highest form. If Mr. Pete the singer was actually born in the religion of the warrior class, he would not allow Don to come in. Don would be cleaning the house for him. So if you're born in a religion, you are destined to actually be that caste for the rest of your life. Can I marry someone from a religion that is of a different caste?
Nope.
No. Unless you go to this view. So the most convenient thing in that time, during this year, and even now, is that why be a Hindu? Let's become a Christian or a Muslim because there's no caste system in there, or Sikh. So a lot of them were switching gears or religions because they're like, why do I have to live the rest of my life being an untouchable? So that was one of the main things about the Hindu religion.
The caste system is outlawed in India currently, but we all know how laws work. You know, it's really outlawed. Anyways, but yes. So fourth, who can guess the fourth major religion?
Judaism.
Sorry. So okay, over here we heard
Judaism.
and over here
Buddhism.
it is Buddhism. So in fact, sixth, I think we can guess is
Judaism.
Judaism. A lot of people don't know that there's more Sikhs than Jews, but it is something that it is true. Perfect, awesome. So now I think what my father was just getting at is the core Sikh beliefs, right? So the number one thing is that we believe in one God. So what is that called when a religion believes in one God?
Monotheistic.
Heard that from Mr. Bissinger. Monotheism, wonderful. So now the interesting thing is our scriptures are the only scriptures that start with a number. 1. Our scriptures start by saying Ik Own Kar.
Can all of you say that? It's so simple. Car. Excellent.
That is the first sentence of our scriptures, and it means God is one. And so that is the fundamental practice, because as my father is saying, in Hinduism, pantheon of gods, but in Sikhism, we're like, look, you know, we only believe in one God. Now we believe God is everywhere, and you know, I think omnipotent, omnipresent, and right.
And
So
not fearing also, don't forget that. That's
Right.
unfair. So if you believe in Waheguru, God is denoted as Waheguru in our religion. Waheguru is God. So whenever you are a Sikh or a gentleman wearing a turban or a lady wearing the batta, they call it, and they say Waheguru, Waheguru. When they fall down, they say Waheguru. When they sit up, like his grandmother, when she does something terribly wrong, Waheguru, like Christ, same thing. And that means God. So when someone says that, you know, it's God, the fact is that they say they are always fearless. So every time you mention that, it takes fear away from you.
right, so now we also believe all are equal in the eyes of God. It was a revolutionary idea in the 1700s. It's a revolutionary idea today. So, but it is true. And it's one of those things that clearly criticize the caste system in India. And it's also one of the reasons why Sikhs were not well accepted in India during that time, which is why Sikhism is a religion that actually was brought about by war, because we did have to fight for our beliefs. So also, we have 3 tenets. So this is Kirat Karna, which means earning an honest living. Van Chakna, which means sharing with others. Sharing is a big part of our religion. It's why every day, in fact, in places like India, but in West Des Moines, our Sikh community, every Sunday we have a community meal. Everyone who's from the outside community is welcome to come in and actually have a free vegetarian meal. So sharing is a big part of our religion. And also remembering God, Nam Japna. So that's also very important. Meditation is very important in our religion as well. And we don't believe in fasting and superstitions, which are characteristics of Islam. Islam believes in Ramadan, so they have a whole month where they fast. They don't eat anything. Now Sikhs don't believe in that.
Now let correction there.
But they eat in the evening.
That's
Or
right.
oh, that's right. You're right. They obviously, they can't survive if they don't eat for a whole month. You're right. But yes, they do eat in the evening. But the idea of fasting we don't believe in. And also, obviously, there's we don't believe in superstitions and rituals and the caste system.
How many of you know what the black stone in a certain part of Saudi Arabia is called? The black stone that the Muslims. Sorry? Kabbalah? Not the Kabbalah. It's actually called, the black stone is in part of it.
It's the Kaaba.
Kaaba, that's right. The Kaaba is where the Muslims worship. So if they have to pray on a daily basis, you'll notice a Muslim will actually take a piece of cloth, put it on the ground, take his compass, or know the directions and face towards east.
Well, it depends actually.
Where you are.
Like where you are.
Right. Okay, yeah, that's right. It's west.
It's in Mecca, correct.
Mecca, that's right. So Mecca is the place where they actually turn that. So for the Sikh religion, the Christian religion, for all the other religions, God is omnipotent, omniscience, all everywhere around. Hence, God is everywhere. So you don't have to worry about facing towards that direction.
And then also we prohibit smoking, alcohol, intoxicants, all that kind of thing.
No, all kinds of things.
I guess you know the bad things, all drugs and all that kind of thing. So it's So now one of the main celebrations in our faith is Baisakhi. So if you want to
before I begin here, I want to say whoever made the coffee this morning is amazing. They should promote this person to the show. I am talking so quickly right now that coffee is really slow. I am so impressed. Thank you very much. Both of us are so excited about your church because at our temple, the size of our Sikh temple, if you ever visited in West Des Moines, we'll give you directions where it is. Again, you're welcome to come to our Sikh temple every Sunday. It starts about 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
12 after it goes on to 2 with a social, and then there's a meal. The meal is very, very lovely. It's a sit-down meal. Our temple, I was telling JJ, is the size of 2 of your halls, actually. That's it. And yours is a beautiful, lovely place of worship. I really got to congratulate every one of you who has worked so hard to build such a wonderful place. It's not easy. So anyway, the topic of Khalsa. Like many of us have celebrations during the year, Christmas, or you have Ash Wednesday, or you have certain types of celebrations. Our day of worship, which is highly respected on that day, is actually called Baisakhi. Baisakhi was the day when our 10th guru, our teacher, he got up and stood up in front of the Hindus and the Muslims and said, I want 5 heads now. And on that day, the 5 men who got up were farmers. And they got up and said, we are ready to sacrifice our faith to the religion. And he got them to be the warriors. And what he did was, he got them to promised to wear long hairs. They're not supposed to cut hair. They're not supposed to actually take tobacco, as JJ was mentioning, intoxicants, carry a sword, carry a special comb, special shorts, and they had to have a bangle. Those 5 things that we're going to talk about are the faiths called the Panch Ks. Panch is 5. Ik, do, tin, char, panch.
So when you think about Punjab, Jab is rivers. So Punjab, the northern region in India where Sikhism originated from, was the region with 5 rivers. So Panch is 5. So that's right. So we have 5 Ks. But we'll talk about Baisakhi first.
Oh, sorry. Okay, Baisakhi was the day, April 13th. Big day for us. It's close to during the Easter, but April 13th is so important for us, is that was the day when the Sikhs were created, the Khalsa, the pure ones were created. So it's a 3-day prayer function, vigil, where they take the holy book called the Granth Sahib and they start praying on a Friday.
It's 1,200 pages, our holy book.
Yeah, and it goes on. It's continual vigil. So someone is there reading the book from morn to evening to morn, and there's food served. And on the final day of the prayer, when it's complete, they have an inauguration of a big celebration. They have a flag ceremony where they wash the flag with
milk.
That's right, you got to see that. They'll take the entire flag down through a mass, wash it with yogurt and milk, and then wash it back again and put a new flag and raise the mast up. It's amazing, that celebration you're going to see. The neighbors are bewildered. They're like, wow, look at the amount of milk these guys are using. Yeah, it's for washing. So that's one. And so that celebration is very, very important to us. And on that day, we have turban ceremonies, the games, the events like that to actually celebrate that big day. April 13th, Baisakhi. So remember, we celebrate on a Sunday, and of course April 13th doesn't always fall on a Sunday. So if any of you are interested to know where the West Des Moines Temple actually celebrates it, send me an email. I have my email, and I'll let you know. And it's so interesting to attend. It starts at about 10 o'clock in the morning, and we finish at about 2.
So we already got to the idea of the 5 Ks. And this is the way because it's an acronym of 5 Ks, I remember it, so it helps me. And so the first is the kara.
This is the kara. This is the yeah. I put on a bit of weight after Thanksgiving. That's the kara. You pass it around, and it's circular in shape, which means pi, and pi is infinite.
An infinite number. Well, everyone has a different way of remembering, so that's one. But also,
his ACTs. That's why you remember that.
Pi r squared. Okay. So, but also, it's the idea of whenever you're about to do something bad, if you're about to steal money, or if you're about to, if you're about to like hit someone or punch someone, you always look at your kara and you think, oh, I remember God. I better not do that bad thing. If I had to cheat on a test, and it was all. I guess you got to remember to make sure.
And again, phi is infinite, so infinite is unending. So unending meaning that Vaheguru in God is unending. The beautiful rings that you wear of engagement and endearment, that's an example of unending love. Happy Valentine's.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry.
We also have the karpan, which is a example of a sword, a small sword. So this is this is only like our high priest wear this because obviously it lights up problems in airport security. You don't want to bring a karpan. And it was more relevant towards the time where we had to defend ourselves. But this is the idea of self-defense, or in a time where Sikh were not accepted in India during the 1800s. This was a time where we needed to protect ourselves. So the kirpan was a signifier of our identity during that time. Also, we have the kachera, which are sort of a long boxer shorts, which symbolizes chastity. We have uncut hair, the kesh. This is sort of, so my hair goes down to
oh
around.
my God, your hair is all the way down there.
Yeah, my hair is on around here.
It's right there. And
Yeah,
every
my knee
Sunday,
level.
it's a battleground in our house because guess what day is Sunday?
It's a hair wash day.
It's supposed to be 3 times, but this guy pushes it back to
But
Sunday.
if you have questions about hair products afterwards,
Thank you.
I'll be.
5 bottles of Pitangla, I'll tell you that.
Anyways, not a pleasant scene, but anyways. But yeah, so keeping our hair actually helps us remember our ancestors who had to really distinguish themselves from the crowd. Because as my father was mentioning earlier, around the 1800s, the Sikhs said, look, we have to look different from the Muslims and the Hindus. We have to distinguish ourselves as our own faith. So we kept our hair long, we wore a turban, we really wanted to stand out.
One of the reasons, JJ, besides trying to stand out, was this. During the times when the Muslims were actually coming down during the Sulaiman Empire and during the Constantinople invasion of, when they were coming down to
the Mughals.
The Mughals, when they came down to India, they were ethnic cleansing all the Hindus into Muslims. They were forcing Islam down the throats of the Hindus. And guess what? In Hindu religion, it's karma. Okay, karma is what happens to me in this state, I have to pay my sins. Whatever in the last day, I have to pay my sins now in this state. So when the Muslims came out and said, we're going to make you a Muslim, they accepted it. And they were doing it in now huge numbers. So when they met the Sikhs, I mean the Sikhs actually were keeping their hair and believing in one God and said, you have to have Muhammad in your books. The Sikhs says, rubbish, we're not going to do that. We're not going to follow your facing to the east. We're not going to do all this, your dogma about religion. We have our own religion, that's it. There was massive slaughtering. Our Sikh gurus, the 10th guru, his dad was actually put on a slaughter bin and his head was decapitated right there in front of the whole Sikh in New Delhi. It was terrible. Same thing happens now sometimes.
And the 10th Guru's sons were bricked alive.
And they were 17, 16, 15, and 40, 7 and 8. They were bricked alive. And that was terrible. And for the faith, for the respect and discipline for just keeping your hair, we were actually put to death for that. So naturally, many of us tell our children today and tell ourselves that you have to keep those disciplines because it's a respect for your ancestry. So important. So anyway, that's the reason why we keep our hair, to remind us of the atrocities during that time. Right. And the comb.
And the comb, yeah. So
we all keep a comb up here to keep our hair close. It's always neat and proper. And it's always proper to remind us. And that morning comb that we do this in the morning when we get put on our makeup and put on this comb our hair, we use that comb. The 5th case, Ganga, as he said, the bracelet that we have is the kara, we have the kirpan, the shorts is kacha, the hair is the kesh, comb is the Ganga. We keep our hair neat that way.
Okay, so now another important aspect of our religion is the idea of the guru. And so, yeah,
Well, I keep talking about gurus, and to many of you in your lives, can I ask you a question? When somebody says he's a guru in accounting, he's a guru in computer technology, he's a guru in... What does a guru mean, actually?
Expert.
He's a teacher, that's right. But for the Hindu religion, in the Sanskrit faith, the word guru actually started off with the word... It was the same thing, teachers. But the word gu actually in Sanskrit means darkness. And ru is light. So if anybody takes you from darkness to light, guru is a teacher. You don't want to be a rugu, but you want to be a guru. But that's the word guru. And that's what we did. We call our 10th gurus who actually brought the teachers who brought us to this level of the time that we're in as teachers, the great teachers. Yes, 15 minutes to check.
Is that until?
Well, and then, so the children's musical starts at 10:30.
So, all right.
So some people will want to leave for that, some people might want to stay back.
Okay, yeah. Oh, it's 10. Okay, so we have 10 Sikh gurus in our religion, and we talked about some of their beliefs earlier on.
And that's the holy book.
And that's
right
the
there.
holy book. We mentioned it's actually 1,400 pages, 1,430. Right, and it's written in Sanskrit.
It's beautiful. If you come to the Sikh temple, we're so happy to take you for an excursion there and show you the premises of the Sikh temple. And one of the most important things, the way how that holy book is respected. It is put to bed like a baby. It's carried on the head. It's the living guru, they call it, in the sense that all the teachings of Christian, Muslim, Islam, Judaism is put in that book. And it's so amazing that 1430 pages that you have. My grandfather used to tell me this. He says, if you ever have a problem, if you ever have a solace, or if you have an issue that's mind causing you depression and sadness, go to the holy book with true faith, with God in your mind, open that book at any page, and you'll find an answer. And how true. We would do that.
Right.
We picked JJ's name from the holy book. We were so confused what to call it because they were all confused. So we flipped the holy book, and we found J as the fifth stanza. And
So my full name is Jeevan Jot.
Life's
Light. Life's light. But
So it's all the whole big
JJ
problem.
just kind of, you like the way it slips off the tongue.
So don't just pronounce it. So we call you JJ.
But with that, we'd like to open up. We don't have a lot more, so we'd like to open up for questions.
Could you flip back to the previous slide, the 3 missions? There you go. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So you alluded to that, are you vegetarian?
No, we are not. I eat anything that moves. When I first came to America, I was vegetarian. I was very strict fish eater, no beef, cow, holy, no, we don't eat that. I was introduced to a place called Carol Crimmins Company. I became a believer. I said, I don't care. Pork is our favorite food. We are not veggies. The Sikhs, most of them may not be vegetarian. The Hindus are.
Yeah, so the Hindus don't eat beef, Jews and Muslims don't eat pork, but Sikhs don't actually have dietary restrictions.
Oh my God, you're filling me in.
So, is there a vegetarian meal at your temple to welcome people who might have those
Yes,
traditions?
exactly
It's a
right.
very important question.
That's very important, yes. So the reason why our meal at the Sikh temple is vegetarian is because exactly right. We want to welcome as many people as possible, and some people do have
Absolutely, that's
dietary restrictions.
Yes.
Yes.
Are there different branches of the Sikh faith? We were because we've heard about different varieties of Judaism, different varieties of Lutheranism, and I was wondering if there were different varieties of the Sikh faith.
Yeah, the question was, if everybody didn't hear that, was that because of the different faiths and different religions like Christianity and in Islam, do we have different varieties of faith in our Sikh religions? That's, you're meaning different religious groups? Yes, we do. There are different forms of Sikhism that folks believe in pure vegetarians. And you saw that lady in the white turban, she's a vegetarian. So you could tell right away the white turban Sikhs are pure vegetarians, so that's a different form of Sikhism. We are more moderate, the liberal guys. And then there's some Sikh faiths who believe in actually, getting up early in the morning at 4 o'clock prayers, being vegetarian, and also coming to the Sikh temple every day.
So like all religions, there's a level of,
That's a very good question.
strict, constructive, and, daring.
Yes, sir.
Analytically, in religion, if you take a 35,000-foot look at religion, most people would argue that it helps people deal with who they are, where they come from, and where they're going. So in the Sikh tradition, where in talking about heaven, hell, afterlife, those kinds of issues, how does your faith deal with those?
That's a really good question, because also this is a situation when you are born in the Sikh religion, one of the first things the Holy Book explains, that's written in the Holy Book, is Churasi Lak. It means that after life, after death, what happens? And the Churasi Lak means 84 million genres of insects and animals that you go through.
Reincarnation.
Reincarnation, thank you. The fact that you are today born in this form on earth, the Sikh book tells us you're given a chance to go back and get your soul free. That's why we talk about Kirat Karna. JJ was mentioning that service, charity, prayer, meditation. You are given this chance now. Help, charity, pray, worship. This is your last chance before your decision day. And on that day, as they say, your report card is read and it decides where you go. Either you come back again, oh, you're lucky.
Or you achieve nirvana, moksha. Many religions have different terms for it.
I hope I answered your question there. And otherwise you go through the cycles of the different areas. Yes.
You mentioned a couple of times in the text, freedom from superstition. And I don't know of any religion that says what we believe is superstition. So could you elaborate on what you mean by freedom of superstitions? For example, what is a Christian superstition?
I heard one the other day.
Or what is a Jewish superstition?
I was walking in my neighbor's house and there's a ladder. They were washing, cleaning something. Girl, don't walk on the ladder. She's a Catholic. She said, don't. I said, why? She says, it's bad luck.
Okay, just the bad luck kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And there are different forms though.
In Hinduism, there's a thread young children wear, and like, sort of across
It's called a tilak. Many Brahmins who are born in the religion, the parents, the first thing they do with the baptism ceremony is to put a black thread around it to keep the evil away. That's one way. So that's form of superstition. Other times,
it is true, and we have our own. It's true. We have our own sort of rituals and superstitions. We all do.
Well, grandmother has it.
We all do. But it's sort of like that's sort of like what our scriptures tell us.
Well, when JJ was born, I'll give an example.
It's cultural.
Yeah. He was born. The first thing grandmother comes up and says, she takes a black piece of crayon and she goes right behind that and puts it right there. I said, what the heck are you doing? And she says, you gotta put a black spot somewhere because that way his beauty is not gone. And there's always a black spot. Like you do that. So I said, what about my new car? She said, yeah, I'll put a dent in it. And I was like, and then, anyway, there are forms of superstition.
So you're right. We do have our own
forms. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I'm not asking you to untie your turban, but I'm wondering if you would use one of us and demonstrate how you tie your turban.
Good.
I think we don't have time today, but
you can do that.
But no. I think maybe what we can do is, if you want to stay afterwards, or we have our evening of enlightenment. I'll send out the posters later on here. If you guys come to the Sikh Temple on the 24th of February, we're going to be doing some turban tying demonstrations. So for those of you who are interested, I'll pass out the information.
We'll be happy to do it after class. Some of you are going to be busy. Some of you are free. Stay back. We'll show you how it's tied.
What is the place of women in your religion?
Very good question. We truly believe to the 100% fullest that women are equal in our religion. To an extent where women can hold any role that a man can hold in the religion. So when you sit down, for example, in certain religions like Islam, women aren't allowed in a mosque. But in Sikhism, women and men can sit side by side. So we truly do believe in, when we say equality, we really mean equality.
And we have Sikh women who preach also.
Can they be officers or?
Yes, they are. We have today the head of the Sikh temple in India is a Sikh lady. Yes, they can be officers. As I also said that they are respected. They can be priests also. We have Sikh lady priests.
And they can own property.
Oh yeah. We have a couple of ladies who are running businesses all around here today, and they're Sikhs. Your ambassador to the United Nations is a Sikh, actually.
Yeah,
Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley.
Yeah, oh, really?
But I think she converted.
She did?
Oh yeah, she's Christian. Yeah, she's Christian.
Right.
But her father's Sikh, so.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
How big is the Sikh population in Iowa and in the Des Moines area? You maybe don't know big numbers, but do you feel like there's a strong community, strong presence, or is it more of a minor?
Very minor. Actually, many of the Sikhs who have come down here actually own gas stations, who are students. Many of them come in as medical students, engineering, computer consultants, and they stay there, they lived on, and they move on. About 20 years ago, the Sikh population was only about 30 or 40. They were all doctors and engineers. They started putting the Sikh temples up. And as they moved on through the years, in 1990, when we did a consensus, it was about 120 in Iowa itself. Then now, we have about 300. That gas station owners, the liquor store owners, and we have
so Johnston, ironically, Johnston, West Des Moines, and what's the other community?
Sorry,
Davenport.
Thank you.
Are the main 3 centers of Sikhism.
Well, I think there's a temple in Johnston.
There is.
Yes, there is. Beautiful.
Yeah. I see the heart is in West Des Moines, is where most Sikhs are.
They started off with this temple, and then we have, of course, a branch off. Yep.
Is there a creation story in Sikhism?
Yes, we do have a creation story of our first guru, Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So when he was born during the 14th centuries, when he started that religion, it was no Christianity, Hinduism. As there was Hinduism, there was Christianity, there was Islam, but for him, everybody was equal. And when he started the movement, he said, look, everyone is equal, and everybody is going to actually meet their day of death, their report card on that final day. So he started that story, and he says, today you believe Sikhism, and that first guru in 1469 moved on to the different gurus who brought in the religious faith and turned it into the form that we are at.
I'm sorry, in Christianity we have in Judaism, the book of Genesis, the creation of the universe,
right.
6 days. Is there a story of God creating the universe?
In that form?
Yeah.
Yes, Vaheguru. They said that God created the universe. So that's Vaheguru, and that's Ekonkar Satnam Karta Purukh. So that story is similar to the story.
Oh yeah, so the second verse in our scripture says God is a creator.
Yeah.
It doesn't go into it, but it does. We do believe God is a creator.
I'm sorry. Yes.
As for but we're pretty ambiguous on everything else. So, unlike Christianity.
Yes.
Is the color of the turban significant for anything?
Actually, no. But
usually a white turban is worn by priests.
Yes, the white turban is worn by seniority, but turbans, no. You could match turbans. We have polka dot, we have glow in the dark ones like this guy likes to wear. Yeah, but in the military, yes, it's significant that we wear blue, it's navy, the white, you're from the infantry, and green is infantry, and red is the commandos. So that's important, but otherwise, no. They try to match your turbans and the nice life. Any color turbans would do, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
You had said that all Sikhs wear turbans, but then when you showed the picture, you said that some women wear turbans, suggesting that not all women wear turbans.
Yes.
So is it that all Sikhs wear turbans, or is it that all male Sikhs?
Most male Sikhs wear turbans.
All male Sikhs.
But not all women.
Yeah, not all women wear turbans.
Why don't women have to wear turbans?
Well, the very staunch Sikh, the priest Sikh ladies will wear a turban. They're very, very extreme Sikhs who say, hey, you know what, we're equal. We're going to wear turbans. I think, yes, go ahead.
But the reason is that women culturally are not very comfortable keeping their facial hair.
Yeah.
And so with that question, what that would entail is that men have to keep. In the religion, it doesn't specify men or women. It says if you're affiliated with this religion, you keep your beard, you don't cut your hair, you keep all of your facial hair. But culturally, what's happened over time is that women have had to have, don't keep a beard, and with the same thing, don't wear the turban. So I guess what you're saying, to answer your question is, usually Sikh men, all Sikh men, wear the turban. That's sort of how it works.
So is it? I just finished the book Year of the Runaways that deals a lot with Sikhs who have emigrated from India to Britain. And the woman who was depicted there, she was living in a family that was very, very strict.
Yes.
And she was Sikh. Would the strictness have been because of cultural, or would that have been because of the particular version of Sikhism her family was
A particular
practicing?
version of Sikhism.
Okay.
That's what happens with some Sikhs who take it to the extreme. And many of them expect their children, daughters also, to keep a beard. We've had young girls who keep beards actually. And then they wear a turban. Like that girl, a lot of the American Sikhs who are suffering from, Americans who suffer from drug addiction, believe in someone called a yogi. How many of you are familiar with the yogi in California many years ago? Yogi Bhajan, the white turban Sikhs. And there's a big following of family Sikhs who believe in white turbans. American Sikhs like you wearing turbans, and ladies who are professionals who wear turbans, and they do that, yes.
Thank you.
Like someone asked about different sects of the religion, yes, there is different sect.
Who do Sikhs think Jesus was?
The Prophet. Like Muhammad, like Confucius, like Buddha, like the teachers, the great teachers that we've had in our lives, they were all great, great prophets. And that was the first thing that we were all taught. Our God is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. It's a form. It's a different energy form. And he sends sons down. Christ, he sent Buddha, he sent Muhammad, and that is our belief. They were great prophets. Yes?
The school where I work has one Sikh who wears the turban, and he's in 9th grade, and it looked like the younger boy.
Are you in Walkie School District?
Yes.
That's just Mayor probably.
That's who?
Just Mayor, yeah, Jesse.
Yeah, that's
That's it, yes.
But I'm wondering, is there a certain age at which you switch from that style of turban to this style? Like in Judaism, there's a big ceremony. In Lutherans, we have confirmation. Is there something similar?
Yes, there is a rite of passage, which I had to go through, which is like usually once you get around your 15, 16, 17, it's a turban tying ceremony. So there is. And so that's where you transition from the patka, which is sort of where you wear this piece of cloth, to the turban.
How many different kinds of turbans might a Sikh have? Do you just wear the same one day after day?
I do.
Or can you wear different colors?
Oh, you could.
Yeah, you can wear so many colors. I'm not so styling. I just go with the red. But
Well,
like,
no, for him it's easy. He just wears one. He ties it in the car. That's really interesting.
I wait to school every day. So. Yeah, but many people wear different colors.
I do wear different ones, and I like to match them. And some of them in India, like my parents, they wear perfume turbans, polka dot. They wear printed turbans, and it's beautiful. And depends on the auspicious occasion of that day. Turbans are very well tied and starched. Yeah, so they're different types.
This is not entirely a facetious question, but could a Sikh ever be a professional football player, or would he have to?
They are.
They wear their turban under the helmet, or what?
There's
a slide that shows some of our Sikh boys who wore a turban and their team. This is the basketball.
He's a basketball player. So I think Wish for Trinity. So so Sikhs are allowed to wear it. Football, I think you're still supposed to wear a helmet. But I think in basketball you can wear a turban.
Yes, we have a question in the back.
I'm going to ask. You can laugh me out of this class, but do they are turbans allowed? Can they carry team logos?
Team logos. Yeah, like okay for I think they can.
What are you making?
I think there's a huge branding opportunity there.
Gives me some ideas here right now. But if you have American flags, there are Sikh turbans and American flags. But the logo is team logo is not. That's something different. Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
You gotta control it now.
Thank you. I know there was another hand in the back too. That young lady.
Yeah, I know you talked about not using drugs, illicit drugs. Where do you draw the line? Would you use prescription medications, or caffeine's obviously okay? Is that in the scripture what you would consider, or is it cultural norms of the times?
Caffeine is okay. Tea, chai, it comes in samples full of chai. Everybody's drinking chai. Yes. Prescription drugs, definitely okay. But any form of drug, hallucinations, any kind of paraphernalia that actually puts you to that mode of losing control of yourself without a prescription, not okay.
So how about like cigarettes?
No, okay. Cigarettes, tobacco or tobacco was disallowed. We're not allowed to take that. Yes, sir.
Is divorce an issue in your faith?
That's a very good question. The history of marriage in our Sikh religion is all based on actually many years ago on arranged marriages. JJ's mom and myself, we had an arranged marriage. So most of us, when our decision to get married was based on our parents' decision. That was big, and respect given to them. Many of them these days have modern marriages. They fall in love at colleges, they fall in love at work, that's fine. There is a divorce rate going on, and divorce happens. And when a divorce happens, the first thing that goes wrong is not the lawyers, it's the immediate family that takes care of everything. The grandparents, the brother-in-laws, the uncles. Why? There's children involved. And that's a big thing. So when JJ was born, the first thing that happened was his uncles and aunts, my brothers and sisters said, he's our son too. So anything happens, the parents and family takes control. The brothers and sisters, the immediate family takes control of the divorce. If it goes beyond that, then legal ramifications are taken place. So good question. Divorce does happen. Unlike the Muslim faith or some other faiths, in divorce it's very simple. How many of you know what happens in the Muslim faith for divorce?
I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you.
That's it. Third one, bang, it's a permanent divorce. Yeah. So for not to see
3 times you say I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you.
And
you're done.
Yeah, in front of you. That's true. So anyway.
Some of us might have to speak out, myself included, for the musical, but I want to thank you guys. Very educational.